Hello again, I am Jim Bob and welcome back to American Midwest. We are about to go grass collecting. All that grass that we sort of rode up at the end of the last episode is here, ready waiting. We're in our Challenger because I wanted something with a little bit of oomph and a little bit of extra grip for when we actually get into the silage bunkers. And as you can see, we have our forage wagon with us. It's time to start collecting. Now I know that I'm probably going to have to do multiple passes in parts on these windrows because they are so fat. Did kind of get a little bit carried away creating these things. So there's going to be lots of sort of little bites at the cherry here and there. Try and make sure that we grab everything. Already you can see we're leaving patches behind. There's one just there. A little bit there. I'll see that strip just there as well. This is the other reason I wanted the Challenger as well. Something that can turn really quickly and tightly, and also is going to have good good grip in general with those tracks. So I'm going to try and just stick to one side of the windrow. I think is going to be the easiest thing, and then just we're going to have to come back and tidy up afterwards anyway, so of course we're going to fill up so damn quickly though. Look how quickly we filled 42,000 litres of grass. That's mental. And we've got all this field to do. I mean, this is the biggest windrow by far. It's the one that's got the most shoved into it, so they won't all be that, you know, insanely fast, but we don't have far to go. As you can see, we're literally on the doorstep of the BGA, which is why I wanted to have that field there as our sort of BGA field. Just made a lot of sense. So now I need to choose a bunker, and I suppose we might as well go with this first one. So let's get a nice cruise control speed set up. Let's go 6 miles an hour. Seems to be a pretty good option. Just run through here at 6 miles an hour. Could actually have gone a little bit faster. Let's bump it up to 8 for the next run. Give that a go. So it is Christmas break time. You know, we are fast approaching Christmas itself. Not going to get any more mods for a little while now. We got our Christmas presents, and we got them kind of early this year. We got seasons, then we got the aggravation pack, and then we got the Massey sprayer as well on Friday, I think. Or was it Thursday? No, it was Thursday. We got the Massey sprayer. The pre-order bonus from the Platinum expansion has now been made available to everybody as a mod. So that's it now for mods for a little while. The team's on a Christmas break. Giants offices are closed until the 2nd of January, and the testing thread says no more updates now until the 8th. So that may be that either Lars himself is on holiday for an extra few days and doesn't come back to the 8th, so in which case we may possibly get a couple of mods go live without any sort of real warning or notification of changes to testing, or it may simply be that the quality control team is actually away till the 8th. It's a little ambiguous, that message from Lars in the forum, so I guess we'll find out, but generally it looks as though we're not going to get any more mods until at least the 2nd week of January, I would imagine. And that's fine. We've had a real flurry of stuff go live recently. not just, you know, with obviously the aggravation pack and seasons. I mean, those two on their own are enough to keep people occupied and busy for quite some time. But you know, so they had the stuff before that. We had the new Deutz combine, we had the Roper harvesters. You know, we've had the Massey sprayer. We've had a few other bits and bobs as well. We've had, you know, another new map as well. Although if you weren't quick enough, then that was subsequently taken down. New Bartelshagen. I actually had to delete New Bartelshagen to make space to download the aggravation pack, and while I was trying to download the aggravation pack, New Bartelshagen was actually taken down due to some adult content, shall we say, you know, hiding inside one of the garages, which means that, you know, I can now no longer actually play that map. I can't go back and re-download it, which is a bit of a shame, because I was actually looking forward to playing that, you know, in my spare time over Christmas and sort of New Year, and now I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm going to have to wait for that map to be re-uploaded to the mod hub before I can reinstall that map. Bit of a shame, but if you already have it installed, then you're absolutely fine. Just don't download it, or sorry, don't delete it until, you know, the updated version is released without the naughty pics. Alright, so let's see if 8 miles an hour is a little bit of a better fit. This might be a little bit too fast. I guess we'll find out. That's not too bad for a base layer, but we may have to slow that down as the layer gets bigger and bigger. We'll see. Alright, plenty of grass for us to keep going and collecting. All of our crops are now fully fertilised. We've just got to let them grow, so we haven't got to worry about weeding or spreading slurry or manure on our crops anymore. Just got to let them grow, and then we'll be able to get some harvesting done. You can see our money is slowly starting to creep back up again. That's the power of our orchard there coming to our rescue. Yeah, we had what, about $100 left. That was it. Now we're sort of regaining some cash thanks to those trees. We need to ferry some manure over there at some point as well. We are going to have to top those trees up again at some point in the not too distant future, so it makes sense to actually transfer a load of manure over there. I mean, that is why I plonked that building down there. You see this windrow, just little bits here and there escaping, so we will have to again tidy up a touch at the end, but not quite as fat as that starting one, so we're not leaving as much behind. Kind of wish there was a little cut through just here. I could put a ramp in, but it's going to stick out to the field an awful lot. I don't really think it's worth it. Tempting as it may be to just be able to shortcut over the wall straight into the BGA, I personally don't think it's worth it. And I don't know if I'd actually be able to place a ramp on the opposite side either. You know, it would sort of cut in at a very weird angle, so we'll just have to keep making this sort of long trek around the edge of the field, around the fence, and then instantly turn back in again. Let's just wait for this guy to move out of the way. There we go. So I'm going to carry on sort of dropping grass in here then, building up our little supply, and I'll catch up with you in a little while. We're making some reasonably decent progress on the field, because they've already cleared out the windrows to the side there on this sort of long stretch that goes behind the BGA. Still got a couple more on that part of the field over there as well. Oh, we're full again. Didn't take long. And we're starting to get a little bit of a decent volume of product inside the bunker itself. It's still a long way from actually filling that up, and I shudder to think just how much chaff is going to be needed to fill all of those bunkers. I mean, we've got, is it 8 or is it 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 10 bunkers. So the sheer volume of chaff that we would need to fill 10 bunkers, I shudder to think just how much we would need to do that. We're not going to even try. It's just going to be a little bit too over the top, but I am seriously giving thought to converting this map over to seasons. Now, it's not fully seasons ready yet. It doesn't have a snow mask, so snow is going to fall absolutely everywhere, and as a result, some of the sort of damage that gets done to product due to the snow, like grass and so on and so forth, that is kind of disabled, from what I understand, until a snow mask is actually added and the map is fully sort of optimized for seasons. So we could, in theory, leave bales out in the open, and they would be absolutely fine. Or at least that's my understanding of it. Because normally, if a map is seasons optimized, then you have a snow mask in place so that snow only falls where the map creator tells seasons to actually to drop snow. It'll create areas where snow can't fall, i.e. inside of buildings and so on and so forth. So it gives you areas where you can actually store bales safely, and then if you leave them out in the open where they can get snowed on, then they'll rot and get destroyed. If you don't have a map that has a snow mask, I think the default is that damage is turned off. So we could look at converting this map over and then just kind of play as though the snow mask was in place, but it does mean that we might well end up with snow inside some buildings. So I'm still umming and ahhing over that one. Plus, we have all these animals. I need to make sure that if we are going to do that, we do at least have a little bit of a stockpile of crops available, ready and waiting for our animals, not just in terms of feed for our pigs, but also, more importantly, straw and hay available for our cows and grass as well. I'm really slightly worried that if I do convert it, we've got over 100 cows, so it's entirely possible that we could end up killing off a large portion of our livestock by just not having enough materials to be able to sort of look after them. It is something I'm kind of toying with, but I'm not sure I want to go ahead and do it just yet. But I do think this would be quite a good map for seasons once it's fully optimized, and when we've got these grass fields that are given to us, we don't have to go out and create grass fields. We've got some nice, easy allocated areas. I think this one could be quite a lot of fun with seasons. I may just wait until this map is optimized. I'm assuming that Shu will patch it to update it. I know he is a big fan of this map in particular. I've said before, he stated in the forums that he plays this map, which obviously it's his map, he created it, but he plays this map on his own PS4. He really enjoys it and has sunk quite a bit of time into it, which is why he spent time putting in the fiddle yard for the trains, why he's updated it for sugarcane, and I expect he will probably update it fully for seasons as well in the course of time. So really hope that's the case. because I do like this map an awful lot. Of all the maps he's done, this is my favourite. I mean, you know how much I like Mustang Valley. It's one of the, Mustang Valley is one of those maps that a lot of people don't really like because it's kind of, just a couple of long fields and that's all there is to it. I think Mustang is more of whatever you make of it. It can just be a straight boring map. It can be a little bit, a little bit more. It's entirely up to you how you want to kind of customize some of the spaces on that map. Whether you create custom forests like I did, or a beet plantation like I did, or if you want to take some of those really, really long fields and maybe cut them in half and split them into different fields. You have 2, maybe even 3 fields instead of just one long field. That map is really kind of, in some respects, it's a bit of a blank canvas. It's up to you what you want to do with it. But I've sunk hundreds of hours into Mustang Valley for Big Bud Farm. I still enjoy playing on it. But this one I think is a bit nicer. It's got a bit more life in it. It's got more colour in it. It's got some more features and functionality in it. I do prefer this one. And already we've sunk around 74, 75 hours or so into this map for this series. So we've done quite a bit of stuff on it already. So there's a little bit of grass left here. Yeah, there it is, I can just see it. Let's grab that thin line, tidy up that edge there as well. Well, that might help show the grass, it doesn't really. It's quite hard to see the grass sometimes when it's in thin amounts. There it is. When it starts getting into thicker clumps, it gets darker and becomes easier to see. Just get that little patch just there as well. So yeah, I'm giving serious consideration to converting this over to a seasons play file as well. Just because we don't have any animals on the Valley of the Old Farm, and I think it's probably going to be quite some time before we do get animals. I'm just slightly worried about the sheer number of animals that we have, and so what I might do is I might do another round of harvesting after this one, so I can make sure I've at least got plenty of straw and so on and so forth in the silos, and then hopefully, I mean, those silo buildings, they're not seasons protected, so it's possible that we may lose, stuff that's stored loose in those silos. It might not be protected from the weather, so we may have to actually store bales. I guess we'll see. It is something I would kind of rather, experiment with first before I push a file live, because the last thing I want to do is do irreversible damage to a farm. So yeah, a little bit of play testing that needs to be done, I think, first before I can fully weigh that decision and say yay or nay as to whether or not I'm going to implement seasons on this farm as well. Plus, of course, seasons completely resets all your fields. So if we were to go ahead and implement seasons at this point right now, all those crops that we currently have growing would all disappear instantly. So at the very least, I need to wait until I've harvested those fields before I would apply seasons. It's not something that would happen right now. There's still, stuff that needs to be grown and harvested. Getting towards the end of this field now. We've just got those 2 windrows left. Let's see how our bunker is getting along as well. starting to get a nice little amount. I'm going to need to get a leveler of some kind in here, I think, and start smooshing it down a little bit. It's starting to pile up in places. Just here, for example. See if we can get right up against the wall. A little bit more. Yeah. Might be able to get away with continuing to unload until that field's cleared. Then I'm definitely going to need to start leveling that off a little bit, smooth it down a bit, so that when we drive more over the top, you know, we can actually make it all the way along, rather than kind of reaching an insurmountable pass. So I'm going to jump on a little bit further then. I'm going to carry on running up and down this field, getting these last couple of windrows done, and get the grass into the bunker, and then I'll catch up with you again in a short while. Final delivery of grass now for our bunker. That field is now picked clean. So let's see just how much grass we've ended up with in here. See, it's really starting to get a little bit of height now. Getting a little bit trickier to maneuver. Again, that's the other reason why I decided to use the Challenger. You know, good grip, good traction across, you know, the bunker as it starts to fill up thanks to those tracks. There we go. Our little mission is done, and we've got those little bits of grass left behind. God damn it. Every time I do silage work, I always end up with little bits of grass that just refuse to go in the BGA, and I don't know why. It's the most infuriating thing. Let's see if I can pick those up. Redistribute them into the bunker next door or something. Is that all of it? No, not quite. A little bit more. Alright, I think that's all of it. Right, let's try dumping that in this bunker here. And then once it becomes chaff, then I can move it back into the... Now again, look, see, it doesn't want to go in the bunker. Every time, I always find a little bit of grass that just refuses to be chaffed. It's bizarre. I don't know why this happens. But it infuriates the hell out of me. It's the same as when I'm trying to put food in a food trough, or grass back in a food trough. Every now and again, I come across some grass that just refuses to be food. It's so strange. And there we go. I've got 7 litres of grass that I can't put in the bunker, so I'm going to have to whiz this up to the farm and see if I can drop this in with the cows. Hopefully I can. And then I'll drop the Tego back into the shed, pick up a leveler from the shop, and we'll come back and we'll start compacting and smoothing out that silage. So I'll see you again in just a moment. Okay, I've just dropped off the Tego, and I just thought I'd point out, you can just see, look, this is probably the first time I've loaded this game up and this hasn't been halfway into the ground. I'm not entirely sure why it's not doing that now, but I'm not complaining. I think that's fantastic that it's actually where it's supposed to be now. So let's get a silage blade. Let's see. Levelers. I'm going to get the small one. Don't quite have enough yet, so I'm going to do a little bit of trickery here because we are making some money. Let's speed time up a little bit. And hopefully we'll earn enough from our orchard when it turns to 5 o'clock to be able to afford that silage blade. Yes, just excellent. Okay, so we can slow that back down to 5 times. Let's buy the leveler. We're just going to get the small one. And I'm buying this one because this one is the only one of the two. I don't know why it's on the small one and not the larger one. It kind of doesn't make a lot of sense to me in that respect. But we can actually attach this one to a wheel loader if we want to. So we'll buy it with a 3-point for now, because we're going to use it obviously on the tractor. So we need to have the 3-point harness. And then in the future, when we get a wheel loader, we can actually just swap that hitch over and we can use a wheel loader to control that silage blade. So let's go collect that, and then we'll make our way over to the BGA and start squashing and levelling our silage, or our chaff. Okay, so here we are at the BGA. We've got our blade behind us. You can just see it in my rear view mirror there. So let's get the height lined up. Put the height about there, I think. The only problem I have with these is having to do it in reverse, so sometimes I get my fingers confused with what buttons I need to be pressing when it comes to driving the bunker when I'm doing it in reverse. Start turning in the wrong direction. And of course you can't cruise control at a low speed in reverse. That's something I wouldn't mind seeing in Farming Sim, the ability to actually set cruise control in reverse. Maybe we would need to have a manual gearbox to allow us to do that. That would be kind of cool as well, if we could have manual gears rather than just constant automatics. Or at least, you know, lock it in forward or lock it in reverse if we can't do a full manual gearbox. So that way we could, if we wanted to, set cruise control for reverse. I think that could be quite cool. Then we can get a nice constant speed instead of having to really balance the triggers on the dual shock. Maybe overdoing the height trim on this. Guess we'll find out when we get towards the end whether I have overdone it or not. Getting a little bit rough at this end now. This is where the larger silage blade comes in handy, being able to push more material in a single movement. But we can get by with a small one. A little bit of space left at the end of the bunker. pull up the help menu in a moment as well, see just how much material we've actually got in here. Who knows, I may even just condense this like this and sell it. Depends how much we have. I would like to maybe start looking at getting another field for our next round of crops if we can. Well, that's worked out quite nice, hasn't it? Alright, now we're going to do the same on the opposite side. I think I may just raise the height of the blade just a touch. We'll try and get it into that sort of little crevice that formed. Much easier that time. Yeah, I think maybe we do need to lower the blade just a touch. I think I set it fraction too high. So let's tweak the blade setting a little bit. Let's give that a go. That may be a touch too much. I kind of want to get this nice and smooth if I can, just to make it a little bit easier. Too many of these little divots forming when we're going in at a change of height. See the tractor bounces up and down a touch as we reach them. Those are the kind of things that I'm trying to avoid. If you go too fast, they become more and more pronounced. Yeah, we kind of went a little bit too extreme there. Alright, let's spin around and go back the other way. This is why I love the ability to just set a nice smooth cruise control for this sort of work. Makes leveling so much more efficient. That's actually looking pretty nice. Just need to smooth out the other side. It's a little bumpy in places, you can see where we just rise and fall. I'm not too worried about spilling out the edges too much at this stage, but going forward obviously we'll have to make sure that gets pushed in. Let's see how much we've actually got in here. Let's just turn the help window on, and we have about 400,000 litres. That's not too bad. So let's see, what sort of price do we get on silage on this map? Pretty kind of standard price. I mean, that's low at the moment. It can go higher than that. What's our compacting level? Compacting level is 100% already, thanks to that levelling. So, you know what? I think I'm actually going to sell this as is. So, let's get this stuff pushed in the edge. Make sure we get it all in there. Let's get my working lights on as well. It's starting to get a little bit dark. Other bit on the edge and push that in as well. Oops. Flatten this bit down a bit. There we go. Now we need to do the same at the other end. Just push that bit that spilled out back in, and then we can blanket this and start fermenting some silage. Make some money. Right up against the wall there. There we go. Let's get all that shoved in first, and then we'll do the same on the opposite side. It's going to be a while, you see, for our grass to grow back, and I don't really want to have to wait all that time. Plus, hopefully by the time this is finished fermenting, our silage price should hopefully be looking a little bit nicer as well. And it's not like we have a shortage of bunkers, so we have to make sure that we get one full before we start working on the next one. You know, we have 10 bunkers, so there's nothing wrong with me, you know, going ahead and actually prepping another bunker while this one is starting to ferment. At least that way we'll have some silage straight away and the ability to add more. And if we get a great demand, I don't think I've ever seen, actually, on Farming Sim 17, I don't think I've ever seen a great demand for silage. I think it's just one of those crops that, or products that never gets a great demand, you know, like logs. So if you have had a great demand for silage, please do let me know in the comments. I'd love to know if that actually still happens or not, but I can't recall a time in the last, year that I've been playing this that I've ever had a great demand for silage on any map. So Yeah, I'd love to hear from you if you have had one. Let me know when it, what map it was and how good a price it was, whether you got like double or not, or just a slight increase. All right, there we go. So, bunker this up. Excellent. We have some silage. Let's put the blade in the shed. That'll start fermenting. Probably take around about 24 hours. Maybe more if I have to turn off crop growth. I think silage still carries on fermenting even if you turn growth off, if memory serves me correct. So we're going to take this back to the farm, get this cleaned, and then we'll take our pickup truck back over to our animal farm. We'll scoop up a load of manure into a trailer and we'll go start transporting some manure and shoveling that over in that building that we placed down in our orchard, so that we have a nice stash of manure over there. What I might even do as well is buy an extra manure fork for our trees. Although I've been toying with the idea of just getting rid of the silage kit that we have up there. What I'll probably do is I'll see if I can actually scoop up manure with that fork as well, and if I can, what I'll probably do is just move that fork up there and then just get rid of the rear blade, the roller. We'll see. Right, see you in a moment. Okay, so here we are at the farm. Bounce over the railway line. I'm just going to park up here by the fuel dump. No, forgot to clean the Puma. It's filthy, the state of it. Right, so will this silage blade actually pick up manure or not? Let's give it a try and find out. Oh, it will. Oh, beautiful. Oh, well, in that case, this is exactly what we're going to be taking. It's a little bit too low to the ground. I'm picking up at the same time as dropping. There we go. Yeah, we'll take this over to our orchard, and we'll use that as a way to deliver manure to our trees. That should work quite nicely. Let's hook up. That saves us having to buy an extra set of front loader arms, because obviously we need these over here to actually be able to scoop the manure, not just for loading and taking down to the orchard, but also, for if we need to load up our manure wagon for our farm. So I think I'm going to go with a I don't know if I'm going to have the... Does this thing tip? If this thing doesn't tip, this will be perfect. Let's just test it. No, it doesn't. Perfect. That's what I want. Because we're going to be height limited. So let's get this loaded with manure. 40,000 is quite a nice amount to take down as well. There we go. We're going to need to probably transport a weight over there as well. So maybe I could just put the silage weight down there as a counterbalance. Although having said that, we're not going to be lifting manure particularly high, so we should have a pretty low centre of gravity. We probably might not need it. I am looking at adding another set of trees in there soon as well. I don't want to go overboard too many trees too quickly, so we're going to stay with just the 14 for now. I mean, you see, we're getting about just over $1,000 an hour from our trees. So at this early stage of our farm, I think adding in another 14 and getting $2,000 every hour is probably a little bit too much. But as the farm expands, we get more land and more equipment, so our costs go up. Then yeah, I think another 14 trees will go quite nicely in that area. So we are going to expand the orchard in the future, just not for a little while. Probably about 12 scoops to fill this thing, I think, entirely. It's going to eat up most of our manure storage again by the look of it. So I'm going to carry on scooping manure. Once this is done, I'll meet you back at the orchard. So here we are, arriving at our orchard. Huge, great big load of manure with us. This could be quite a tricky turn here, actually. With that blade on the front. There we go, sneaking our way through. Now, I haven't actually tried putting manure in one of these before, so I don't know whether the walls are going to have tip collisions or not. I really hope they do, otherwise this could get quite messy. But let's find out, I suppose. Let's try and get it a little bit square in the centre. There we go, that's about as good as it's going to get, I think. Oh, no, no, it doesn't. Damn it. That's such a shame. Alright, we'll just have to be really careful where we tip. Alright, so go on, close the lid. There we go. Just delayed reaction. If that's the case, let's shovel from the back first. So that we can at least maintain the illusion of tip collision. Don't actually know if we need to top our trees up. I'm guessing we're going to need to top them up a little bit. Get our lights on full. Yeah, I can see a lack of manure at these trees, so let's and this is where I need to be really careful. Make sure I'm tipping on the tree and not on the ground. There we go. Next tree. Excellent. This is going to work really well, actually, this tool here. It holds 4,000 as well, which means I can do 4 trees in one go, whereas the manure fork that we were using earlier holds 3,400, so we can't quite do 4 trees. And that's 4 trees from scratch. Obviously these still have some manure on them. When they get below half, I think it is, then you don't see the manure at the base, but they do still produce. as though they had it. So we're going to be able to top most of the trees, about half of the trees up in one go here, which is kind of cool. Okay, that was going to need a little bit more. Back our way out. Get back around the other side of the building, get that manure that shouldn't be there. Excellent, there we go. Finish this tree off. Can get some really nice kind of scenic shots like this at night time with the lights and the trees and the sunset just shining through the background there. That's a beautiful shot. Of course, it does make it quite tricky to see where I'm going. Trying to drive with all these weird scenic angles on. Gonna need another little bit of manure to finish these last ones off. Make our way through. There we go. I'm going to grab the trailer as well, make sure they're all nicely topped up with water. Our trees have worked really hard for us today. It's way more than I'm going to need. Let's tip some of that back. Probably about as much as I can tip, I think, before I start picking it up again. Let's grab the water trailer. I think I've got water in here still. Oh. Yes, I did fill it up. I thought I had done. There we go, so those two trees done. They're quite thirsty actually. They were close to a top-up need because they need 500 litres of water. And you can see that, you know, we're actually using quite a bit of water just to top them up, so they were getting close to needing a drink anyway. And oh, we are pretty much out of time, so just going to quickly finish this off, and then I'm going to sort of, you know, close down the farm for the night. Thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob, and we'll be back with some more American Midwest very soon.